wow, I see people I know here and some people who came. Yes, good to have you here tonight. So excited. And also people online, good to have you join us tonight. It's my pleasure to actually talk about this topic, digitalization. Actually, just to give you a bit of a background about myself, just the clicker. I activate. Yeah. Okay. So actually, digitalization is something that is what I've been involved in for the past a decade and a half, more than a decade and a half, actually. So I've been working in ICT. What is ICT? ICT is actually a combination between information technology and also communication. So IT plus CT, you have ICT, okay? So a lot of terms there, but this is simple terms. I started off with networking. Networking is, the network that you use to connect your broadband. Very simply, your broadband at home. That is a network. And also, I moved on to solutions like IoT, digital nation, smart cities, and things like that. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities. I've worked with multinational companies that are doing ICT, and just some of the names up there. And then I've done infrastructure, I've done hardware, and also now I'm moving towards software and also platforms. So you see some flags there, just some of the countries that I actually travel to for my projects. So it's very interesting. You can see that the countries, you have developed countries, developing, and underdeveloped countries. It's very interesting. So I usually meet with the telcos, the regulators, and also sometimes the ministers as well. So I'm really grateful, and I just hope that what I have, I can really share my experience with you about digitalization. So the next thing, let's get some basic stuff out of the way. Let's unpack some terms, okay? I think you would have read on the internet, you read things like, oh, digitization. Sometimes it spells with a Z, sometimes it spells with an S, it sounds so confusing. And then you have digital transformation, and then you have digital, fill in the blanks, digital city, digital nation, things like that. So it's, it's a lot of terms, but let's just look into it. So, once you get the, basics of it, I think it's not so difficult. So let's pick some example, some very simple example. Let's take music. So all of us here, we like music, right? I'm sure you like some singers that you follow. You probably buy some albums, So take, for example, okay, your favorite singer is recording a song in the studio. So that process where the sound is converted to a digital music, that is called digitization. So digitization is basically your analog signals that you take and convert it into a digital. So digital is all bits and bytes, ones and zeros. That's all there is. Okay, once you have that, so this artist, okay, so I take an example, Micah Iverson. So if he's one of the contestants of The Voice, he's a worship singer. That's why I like him. So his songs are available, okay? So because he recorded his songs in the studio, even though he's not a famous singer, but he doesn't release an album yet, but his songs are available for anyone. Okay, now when you go a step further, the digitalization, when you take a step further of the industry is when you have stakeholders coming in, you have other players. So all of a sudden, this one person, this one artist song is available, to all the music streaming platforms. So you have your, you have not only your YouTube, you have your Apple Store, you have Spotify, you have so many different streaming platforms. So these platforms enable this guy's music to be sold and also to be spread, throughout the world. So this whole process, as you can see from digitization, is very simple first step. Just convert everything into digital, to digitalizations in phases. Okay, you have the individual phase, which is the micro phase, and then you have the bigger picture. The bigger picture involves more players. So when you have more players, that's when you call it an ecosystem, a digital ecosystem. So that's an example for music. Now we take one more example, healthcare. Okay, you probably go to a clinic and they take your blood pressure, the simple blood pressure equipment that you have. So if you put a little chip in there and it converts all your readings into a digital signal or digital data, okay? So that becomes a digitization as well. So as a patient, you will have your own reading, your own record. So you may be recorded it daily at the doctor or yourself at home. So that is a digitalization. So, but if this information is shared among healthcare providers, like your clinics, you know, your hospitals and things like that, then this becomes a digital healthcare. So now it's a whole process of moving from just digitization to digital healthcare. So now you can see how these terms play out. So by these two examples, I hope it shows you and gives you a picture of you know, what's the difference between all this. Okay, next we look at the building blocks. Gets a bit technical, but bear with me. We will start with the simple things, devices. So devices are very straightforward. Your smartphone that you carry, those are devices. Very simple, you know, smartphone. And the devices, to be in the digital devices, it has to be connected. So your smartphone is connected, right, to the mobile, to your mobile network. It's a 4G or 5G, right? If you have 5G now. And then this, the upper layer is the network. So the network is, there are only two types. It's wired or it's wireless. So your 5G is wireless. It's wireless. There's no physical connectivity. Whereas a wired, if you have a fiber at home, your time fiber connection, that's a fiber, that's a wired connection. So there are two types. So you have to be connected. Your devices have to be connected. It can't function on its own, right? Because it has to be able to send the signal to an upper layer. So the network is it's a communication channel between your devices and the upper layers. And then we go up one more. That's where you have your service platforms. This one, you can look at it as a bit like an engine, if you will. So at this layer, at this engine, you're doing things like you know, analytics. You know, you store all the data that you collect. The data can be in the data centers, and then you do a lot of operation stuff. Okay, you do a profiling, you know, data profile. So this is where you put a little bit more intelligence onto all this data, so that you know where the data is coming from, who the data belongs to, and how do you manipulate the data. So that's what it does. And then you go up another layer. That's where the application comes in. The application is very specific to segments. Okay, so just now we have seen music segment, healthcare segment. So you can have, like, the first one is government segment, smart government. So you notice now everything, at least in Malaysia, everything you can do online. You can basically pay your bills online. Different municipal already have a website. We can pay your quick rent online. You can pay your bills online. So that's part of the government initiative to have all the government agencies go online. Then we have education, we have transportation, we have also e-commerce, and we have healthcare, we have manufacturing, and also society, like commerce. So these are the verticals, and within the verticals, you have the digital government, digital education, and digital transportation, and so on. So now you can see the different layers, and this is a very basic building blocks. So when people talk about, say, for example, IoT, by the way, means Internet of Things. So Internet of Things is a very broad term, but when you look at Internet of Things within the specific segment, it tells you something. For example, healthcare. Healthcare is a very exciting field for Internet of Things. So I give you one scenario. At home, you have all your test items. You know, you have your oximeter, you have your, you know, things that test your heartbeat, your pulse, your blood pressure, and these things are all connected to the internet. It may be connected to your local healthcare provider, your clinic, your GP, your doctor, and then you test it every day, and this data is available to your doctor. And one day a doctor looks at the data and say, oh, today, your heartbeat is a bit out of normal range, or your oximeter is a bit higher. So, and then your doctor tells you, oh, something is wrong, come and see me now. So that's the whole purpose, this opposed to you doing it at home, and then you just record it yourself, on a piece of paper. That's not digitalization. So you can tell the difference now. IoT, Internet of Things, it's whatever things that are connected to the internet that sends data, and somebody collects the data and analyzes the data. Another very simple example is your water meter. You will notice that maybe for us in Selangor, your IA Selangor, right? You are with IA Selangor. They send you a notice maybe few months back and say, oh, it's time to change your meter. Oh, why is that? Why do I need to change my meter, right? Because they are changing your meter to a smart meter. That's the whole purpose. So that, when they want to see your usage, they don't have to come around to your house, knock on your door and open your gate and things like that. So now with the smart meter, your readings of your water consumption is sent to the headquarters, and they can just send you a bill when the time comes. So that's one example of IoT in action. Okay, so the next one we have cloud computing. This cloud is a very buzzy word to me. What it simply means is, whatever is on the cloud, it is a combination of hardware and software that just provides you the services you need without you needing to care what's behind it. You just see it as a cloud. Okay, there's a cloud, and whatever services I need from it, I can just take it from there. So that's the whole purpose of cloud. And behind the cloud, you actually have also some intelligence, some computer that does computing, that provides you the services. So these two concepts put together gives you cloud computing. Blockchain, you probably had some talk about fintech, in the past. Fintech is the in thing now, and blockchain is one of it. Blockchain is actually a digital ledger. It's just technology that ensures that every transaction that goes through, you cannot replicate, you cannot cheat. It gives the exact detail of the buyer and the seller, the transaction details, so that you cannot say, oh, okay, you have a duplicate transaction, or you can change anything about it. So it's a digital ledger that ensures that any transaction that uses blockchain is hard to manipulate, or it's hard to you try to make it into something that you want to cheat. So it helps, especially in banking transactions, in monetary transactions. Okay, well, artificial intelligence. This is very interesting. Artificial intelligence, I would say, it's kind of gray. Maybe you can ask me questions about this afterwards. Yeah. So basically, it's trying to allow our decision making from a human more to the computers. So we know that computers make our lives easier, make our jobs easier, but we're trying to give the decision making to a computer system. In a way, in some applications it's good, in some applications it's very questionable. Okay, I'll give you an example that you may see. If you're using iPhone, you've heard of Siri, right? So Siri is a voice-based AI. You can, oh Siri, what day is today? Siri, what's the weather now? You can ask Siri anything and it will reply you. Why is that? Because Siri has the ability to analyze your voice, catch the keyword, and then respond with the response. So there's some form of intelligence there. So for AI to work, you need to collect a lot of data, data lakes. Like for example, Siri is trained to recognize the different words. Like when I say what day is today, so it recognizes the words and then it gives you the response. So that is an example. So for Google, you have Alexa, and for Microsoft, you have Cortana. But I think they are phasing out Cortana in Microsoft 11. So yeah, that's the whole thing coming up. And then you have the virtual reality. So we have VR, we have AR, we have MR. Okay, the differences for let's start with AR. AR is augmented reality. It combines a bit of a real reality with a virtual reality. Like, do you know the game Pokemon? Pokemon, yeah. Pokemon is you use your phone and you have to switch on the camera and you sort of go to some places and then you try to catch some monsters, right? Pokemon monsters. So what Pokemon does is it takes a picture of your actual reality and then it combines it with virtual reality. So the monsters are the virtual reality, the fake ones. But then you see the background is your real reality. Okay. And then we have the virtual realities, completely virtual. It's completely virtual. So you have like your HoloLens, you see people wearing those lenses. Those are the tools that you will use for virtual reality. So I give you an example of where virtual reality can be used. So one time we had one time we had a data center exhibition. So data center itself, it's like a place, right? So in the exhibition, we weren't able to show the real data center to people. So what we decided to do is actually design a VR program. So when people come to the booth, we'll give them the HoloLens, okay? And then they walk around and they actually think that they are in a real data center. So they see the real things. Oh, they can see it but it's not there in real life. But when you wear the lens, you see it as it is in 3D. It's like almost real. I see that one application this can be done is most real estate companies, developers now, because of COVID, they can't do a show house, right? People coming to the showroom, show house to see the actual unit. So virtual reality could be one way if they allow the potential buyer to actually come inside the real house and to like feel it. Oh, this is the dining room, and then you come in, this is the bedroom and things like that, to just see it like real. So that's where some applications come in, virtual reality. Okay, we out of all these building blocks, I hope it's not too difficult, some very basics there. Okay, we also come to digitalization in different industries. So industries are very specific and they're very interesting because every industry has got their own digital application. It's very exciting. There are many different solutions that you can test, and there are many different players. They have their own ecosystem. It's exciting. So a new name or a new, I would say, a trend nowadays is to name the tech, the digitalization is what kind of industry? Tech. I give you an example. Financial technology, you call it fintech. Fintech, yeah, you heard of fintech, right? It's used nowadays. And then property plus technology, they call it prop tech. Prop tech, yeah. So if you hear about prop tech, you know that's something to do with property. The next one also, insurance plus technology, insurtech, yeah. And then any kind of industry you can imagine. So if you think of any new names, maybe right now you have something in mind, yeah, please, you can ask me, or let's see, it's something new. Because this is what I've heard, fintech, prop tech, insurtech, and maybe there are manufacturing tech or something like that. So it's kind of cool, yeah. Okay, next we move on to what type of digital transformation is accelerated by the pandemic. Okay, first one, we look at a department store. So every one of us love going, at least for us ladies, we love just going for a bit of a therapeutic shopping or window shopping if you want, right? Okay, so but with the advent of MCO, it's like, okay, no, everyone stop, all stores are closed, what do we do? But you see, if you are a business owner, if you are, selling, things like this, clothes or mom and pop shop, and you're asked to close, oh, MCO, close down. Unless you are a critical business, unless you're in groceries or other areas, you're forced to shut down. So what options do you have? So this people go online. That's what we call offline to online, or O to O, okay, or virtual reality. So now all of a sudden, all the stores are closed, but then they go online. And then you see on Shopee and Lazada, you see, oh, okay, this shop is appearing on Shopee or Lazada, or they are building their own websites and things like that. So they go online. So this is to make sure that they still continue the business, right? To make sure the business doesn't stop, but still continues. So this is a trend that's going to come up, because the first MCO, about 100,000 businesses are shut down, 100,000 SMB businesses. And by the time the third MCO comes around, we are looking at 150,000 businesses that shut down. And that's very sad, right? Because if they have no way of going online, that's it. They just close shop, because there's no traffic, there's no customers, and you can't do anything. If you don't have income, that's it. Okay, we love our shopping trolleys. We just love them. So, oh no, I can't push my trolley. I can't put items in the trolley now. But don't worry, it's there. It's just, you see a little trolley icon there on the website. It's there. Okay, it's just transformed to a virtual trolley now. So instead of having a physical trolley to push, you have a virtual trolley which you can still put items inside and check out. So it's the same experience. You can buy anything, you can check out as usual, and you can pay online. Okay. Next one, cash. Recently, I had an experience. I was selling some items on Carousel, and the buyer is a senior guy who made an offer, and he said, can we do COD? COD is cash on delivery, right? So at first I thought, okay, usually I do sell some items on Carousel, and most of the cases they will say, oh, can you send me the items, or can I send a dispatch to pick them up? But he says one COD. Okay, I say in my mind, I think fair enough, because the items is about few hundred ringgit. So maybe he wants to check it out. Okay, so I met up with him. He checked the item. He said, good, okay, I'll pay you now. So when he said that, I was expecting him to take out his smartphone and ask me my bank account or touch and go, But he took out a wad of cash, cash, and he put a paper clip on it, and then there's a small little piece of paper that just state amount and gave me. I said, oh. Then he looked at me and said, oh, why, you don't like cash? I said, no, I'm fine with cash. I'm fine with cash. But anyway, the thing is, a lot of people are paying online now, right? You either use online banking, or you use e-wallet, you use e-wallet like your Touch and Go, your Grab, your Fave, and anything like that. So people are using online. So, but different people have preferences. I respect that. If you like cash, that's good. But let me say this. Many years ago, when you go to a shop, if you take out your credit card, right, and the shop, the cashier tells you, if you are paying by credit card, you're going to have extra, maybe 3% or something like that. Okay. Now, hardly you don't have that anymore, right? You can pay anything, right? Anything you want. Why is that? Very simple. They, paying by credit card or any other method, the seller will still have to pay more, because they have to pay for the terminals, they have to pay for transaction fees, right? The only difference is that they have raised up the price across the board, right? The 3% has been raised up. So the average of the price, they raise it across the board, so that you are paying by credit card or you're paying by cash, that extra 3% is already covered. So my advice to you, as much as possible, if you can use credit card or you can use e-wallet or things, use it. Why? Number one, because you don't have to carry so much of cash around, right? You know, you exchange cash. It's also COVID measures. Number two, because you can collect points. I mean, you use your credit card, you collect points, and you redeem it for a voucher. So it benefits you. And even with e-wallets, there are a lot of extra point vouchers. There are a lot of incentive that you can redeem with points. So I really encourage you use e-wallet. For those of you who have not used Touch and Go, don't raise up your hands. Maybe after this session, you can download Touch and Go e-wallet and just play around with it. Yeah, just try it out. Because you see now a lot of shops, from my experience, a lot of shops, they are starting to accept e-wallets. I go to, you know, the stalls, the stalls with the zinc roof and all that, they have a Touch and Go sign on there. So everyone is accepting e-wallets now. So yeah, it's gonna be the norm. Okay, and then you worry, oh, if I don't have a wallet, what would I do? Yeah, it's become virtual, you know, just like your shopping cart, it's become e-wallet, yeah, electronic wallet now. Okay, the next one, okay, blue world. Blue world is a term if you look at PwC. So PwC, they have actually released a paper on the different working worlds. Actually 4 worlds, but I will highlight on blue world. Why? Because blue world is so pervasive. In 5-10 years ago, blue world represent the corporate world. Corporate world meaning big organizations, you know, and a lot of big, huge number of employees. Their products are used everywhere. They are like the incumbent. They are like the giants, right? So if you can name some big world type of company, you can see like maybe Microsoft, you know, so those are huge companies. You know? So there's a big word, it's corporate, and everything is very corporatized, very organized, and could be maybe bureaucratic, things like that. But it's slowly transforming to a red world. So the definition of red world is innovation. So innovation drives everything. So instead of a company or your name of the company that drives everything, innovation says, if I have something, if I have a solution, if I have a product that the market needs, I can develop this, and it is what that will drive the company. So Red World is characterized by, you know, a lot of startups, a lot of digital startups, a lot of company that is lean. So that is a Red World. So you see that the shift of work, or the shift of the working culture, the culture of the company has begun to change. So, and then the other thing is also, I would say the workforce. So the blue world, most of the workforce are the baby boomers, people who maybe, you know, have come out to work 20, 30 years ago, and then they have established themselves, they've climbed up the ranks, you know, they've achieved something. That is a part of the identity of the blue world. And they are very proud. If you work for companies for more than maybe 10, 20 years, they wear like a badge of honor, you know, they're very proud of it. Whereas the red world is very different. So the red world, you're talking about the new generations, the Gen Y, Gen Z, you know, the new generations. Complete opposite. They don't see themselves working long, very, very long in a certain organization just to survive, just to have an income. But I see a motivation. You need to have a passion. So you touches the passion. You need to reach them very differently. That's a different workforce. I'm sure some of you are out there working. If you are leading a team, if you have very young people, you will notice a different mindset, mentality. So it's this generation of workforce that is very suitable, and that will push the red world forward, because it's all based on innovation, based on, you know, who comes out with the results, who comes out with the solutions, and they don't care about you know, bureaucratic. They don't care about long process flow. So they're very lean, they're very nimble, and they're very agile. So that's how it will be. Yeah. So in this aspect, if you look at the blue world, if the companies, big companies, don't transform themselves, they are at risk of being left behind. I can say that. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, we look at sustaining innovation. So, in the future, you look at Hilton, a very traditional hotel. Garmin is GPS. And then you have your taxi, right? Those are very traditional. Then all of a sudden, you go to Airbnb and you can book anything, right? You don't need to go to a hotel, things like that. Or Waze, you use Waze. No, you don't have to buy yourself a Garmin set, Garmin terminal. Or when you want to go somewhere, instead of calling a taxi, now you book a Grab, to go anywhere. And then Upwork. Upwork is a website that is a freelance that offers freelance jobs. Okay, instead of looking for a recruitment agency, now you go onto a freelance website. So on the left, what we call sustaining innovation is innovations that just takes time to change. Takes time to come out to the market. They take something that's proven, maybe a long time ago. Okay, this is proven. This product is proven. We're just going to improve on that. Maybe they give more discounts. Maybe they, things change like that. But they don't do anything new. The business model is still the same. But on the right side, you see that the business model has completely changed. Okay, take for example Airbnb. Airbnb as a company does not own any property at all. Okay, but whereas Hilton as a hotel, you need to own the building to offer the hotel rooms, right? But Airbnb, they don't own any hotel rooms or any physical property. Okay, and Grab as a company, they don't need to own cars, but now they do have like cars where you can rent and all that. But what started off was that they don't own any cars. So the business model is different. So this is what we call the platform business model, which I will explain more a bit as we go along towards the back. Okay, we look at a bit of a pros and cons of this transformation. The first pros is, of course, everything now is online. Okay, so you can do everything online. Not only can you purchase item online, you can have meetings online. Now all of us are on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all that. Instead of going to the office to have meetings, you can be back home and do it all online. And then efficiency is increased. So you have a better efficiency with IT, that's for sure. Cost savings, cost savings appeals to each one of us individually because in many ways, there's cost savings. Even simple things like you're buying things online, you don't have to drive to the shop, find parking, pay for parking, and so many things, right? If you're used to buying online, have it delivered to your doorstep with free shipping. Wow, that's so attractive, right? Yeah. And then analytics, okay? So now you have at your disposal data analytics, which you can help you. Like I give you the simple example, if you buy online, you can go to your orders and you can see your purchases for the last month, for the last 3 months, and then you can see, oh, my spending habit, how your spending habit goes. So that data actually helps you. But if you are just going to the shop and just paying by cash, you can't track any of this. So for the sake of tracking and things like that, so the data will actually helps you. And coverage. So if you have an online shop, a lot of people can come and see what you have, right? So not only those people living close to you, but you can actually sell to people who are out of state, who are, maybe overseas even, if you can deliver to them. So you have much more coverage. And then talks like this, even sermon like this, if you have it online, so many people from overseas can log in. Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, so it helps you to feel okay. Now I can just chill and just relax because so many good things have come about. But there are also the con side, something that make you think, okay, let's consider and think about this. So the first one is your digital footprint. So you can't help it because every time you go on a website, you sign up, you would give some information about yourself, your name, maybe your address, maybe your phone number. This is what we call a digital footprint. But don't worry, most websites, especially government websites, e-commerce website, they are bound by PDPA, the Personal Data Protection Act. So they have to ensure that whatever information you give them, it's all safe. The data is recorded and it's safe. This includes a telco, healthcare, and so many insurance, all that. They have to make sure. It's by law that they have to make sure information is protected. But what I'm saying is that if you are into online, for example, social media, for example, Facebook, things like that. So the more you post, I mean, for business is good, but personally, the more you post, the more you leave your digital footprint. Digital footprint is when somebody Google you, they can find something about you. That's what we call a digital footprint. So maybe after this, you can try Googling yourself and see what information is up there on the net about yourself. That'll be interesting. Okay, then we have security. Yes, your data gets stolen. Once a while, we read very disturbing information that, some organizations, got hacked and the data of your subscribers got stolen, things like that. Okay, then we have identity theft. So when people have a hold of your data, they can pretend to be you. That's a scary part, right? So if let's say I have a picture of Swiss, and then I go and log in and create a profile under Swiss name and things like that. So yeah. So, and cyber attack. So cyber attack is actually a warfare. You have heard of how cyber warfare is ongoing now, even what is happening in the world. So it's very real, okay? So because everything is online, it's open to cyber attack. So these are some of the cons, but there are measures to mitigate all this, okay? Okay, the last one is co-opetition. I will not spend much time. I hope you ask me this question, what is co-opetition? So I'll wait for the Q&A for that. Okay, so our response, either we are overly negative, okay, I'm going off the grid. I'll go off the grid. I don't want to do any of this. Or you are the other extreme. I'm going to be all digital. I'm going to be in the metaverse day and night, night and day. So don't do any of it. Find a balance. The key, balance is key. So when we talk about balance, we talk about the pivoting strategy. As an enterprise, there are 3 Ps. So when you pivot your IT or digital strategies, you pivot it towards the platform, your people, the process, and also your product. So these are the 3 ones. You can ask me more for Q&A. And individual is 2A, adopt and adapt. Adopt means be open to learning new technology. There's always a learning curve, but be open to it. Be open to take up something new. And adapt is to make it work for you. Is to take it one step further, make it work for you. So not all technology you need to embrace, but if anything you need to embrace, find a way to make it work for you. Yeah. Okay, I will look, turning challenges into opportunities. We look at platforms. Platform is where it's a very interesting model where it enables you to find new opportunities as an entrepreneur. First of all, it gives you a chance to be your own boss, your own entrepreneur, right? So we talk about side hustle. So how do you do the side hustle? How do you find a side hustle job? That's a big question, okay? So platforms helps you to do that. And one of the ways easy to get on platform is because it's a low entry barrier thing. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Sometimes all you have to do is just go on a website and just register yourself for free. And then you can find jobs, you can find anything that will help you in your side hustle process, okay? And then the last one is a positive network effects, because when you go on platforms, the beauty of platform is everyone is connected to platform. That's where you have network effects. You have so many buyers, you have different sellers, and everyone is interacting with one another. So instead of you just advertising by word of mouth, you go onto the platform, your coverage is more, and you have better positive effects. Okay, just to share about what I do, I'm with a startup company called yadiyat.com. The website is yadiyat.com. Yat means hand in hand with you in the digital age. We are a platform. Yat is actually a platform, and we have two portions. On the left side is Pro, whereby we enable people to help people to look for freelance jobs. It's a site for freelance job matching. So if you're an employer looking for freelancers or you're freelancers looking for jobs, this is the site for it. Or on the right is Shuk, is actually a platform for e-commerce. It's a site for you to sell your homemade items and homemade dishes and handmade items. So do check it out and connect with me. I can help you. If you have more questions, I can help you with it. So with that, I thank you. Yes.